So welcome to EDU 556 voluntary session number one. My name is Ryan Shaw. I am Associate Professor of Educational Technology here at Notre Dame Maryland University. I've been here for 14 years. I'm just going to pin my image to the screen here. If you see me looking to the side, I'm not trying to be rude. I have a much bigger screen that's easier to see as I look through. So my camera's this way, my screen is this way. It actually helps a lot. So let me go ahead on through this. As I mentioned before, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to use the chat feature in Zoom, or you can also unmute yourself and just ask as we get going. All right, so this is voluntary session one. So just a little bit about myself, Ryan Schaff, Associate Professor of Educational Technology. I am also a former elementary school teacher. I taught in K through 12 education for 12 years. I was a third grade teacher, and I was also a technology teacher in K through 5. I'm an author of 7 books. In fact, one of them you're going to be using I'm sorry, I'm author of 7 books. In fact, my last class that I was teaching, they're using one of my textbooks as their class course text, and you're not. You're using a different one. I'm married. I have 2 boys and 2 dogs, and one dog is currently snoring in the background. So I apologize if you hear him snore or if you hear him bark when he wakes up angrily when somebody gets home. Okay, just at a glance, so here's your book. It's called ISTE Standards for Educators. It's right here. It's really useful if you've never used the ISTE standards before. It's helpful because it really does take this really thick standard language and really kind of writes it to where it's actionable and you can kind of clearly understand it. The reason I picked this book because it's not expensive. It's $16. Very manageable book. It is definitely useful. It will be useful in the future if you're ever integrating technology into the classroom. You can get ideas from it. These standards have been around for quite some time, but I have a feeling they're not going to be revised too radically in the near future because the standards are still very relevant today. I'm going to go over the syllabus in a little bit. I'll also go over Brightspace, talk a little bit about Anthology, which is the e-portfolio. You may also have heard of it as Chalk and Wire. They're the same thing. And talk about course communication, how I'll use the announcements and your NDMU email address to kind of keep you in the loop. So at a glance, the course structure, there are 7 ISTE educator aligned modules. So you have 7 modules. There are 7 ISTE educator aligned modules with 7 ISTE standards. Each module has a module plan that is directions on how to, where to start, all the way from the objectives all the way to the assessment. Takes you through everything. Talks about the presentations, the video resources, and the readings. There are going to be 2 voluntary synchronous learning sessions. That is the one we're having tonight, and one that we'll have in the middle of the course as we get through. It'll probably be during like week 5. I'll make an announcement and when. This course has been constructed to be very useful when it comes to learner choice and agency and autonomy. With learner agency, when you're doing lesson plannings, when you're thinking about the tools that you're using, a lot of it is crafted thinking about your own professional experiences, or if you're in the class, if you're not quite in the classroom yet, maybe the classroom experience that you're going to want to be in if you end up getting a job. If you're already in the school system, absolutely consider looking at tools and resources and planning for instruction that you might use in the future in your current professional setting. And I also try to make this valuable I consider this blended, although we're asynchronous to where we're not going to be we're not going to be meeting online at the same time. You're going to get announcements I usually do them either Sunday night or Monday morning for the week. And then typically my instructional weeks will end on Sunday nights. So at a glance, here are the course topics and themes. There, of course, the ISTE standards for educators. There's professional learning and growth that is aligned to ISTE standard 1. Finding, evaluating digital tools and resources, that is in ISTE standard number 2. Digital citizenship is ISTE standard 3. Computer science, computational thinking, I think is in both 4 and 5. Screencasting, online collaboration, again, they're also in 4 and 5. Video recording and editing is in, I think 5 and 6. Digital instruction, pedagogy, the Assure model, that can be part of 6. And finally, data collection analysis, instructional decision making, that's a part of ISTE Educator Standard 7. So all these in a nutshell are aligned to ISTE standards for educators. There are 7 assessments, big assessments, as I mentioned before. There is a pre-course and post-course self-assessment. So this is a part of ISTE standard number 1, where you are showing and demonstrating that you're a lifelong learner. What's going to be due at the end of this week is the pre-course self-assessment. This is the only thing that's not going to be turned into anthology or chalk and wire. It's going to actually be turned into Brightspace. The reason being is you're not going to be finished with the entire assignment. Since it's a pre-course and post-course, you're just going to demonstrate that you are comfortable in using Brightspace and comfortable in using, and absolutely it's giving me pre-course data. So this way I can kind of understand where you're coming from, and I want to help to cultivate your strengths to where by the end of the course, your post-course self-assessment should show a lot of professional growth in all of the standards. Assignment 2 is a digital tool search log. You're going to actually find tools and consider and contemplate how you might use these digital tools and resources in the classroom. For assignment 3 is digital citizenship. It's a presentation. You're going to pick a law or policy associated with using technology in schools. For instance, like FERPA, or there's the Children's Internet Protection Act. You're going to find one of these laws, research them, explain how they are used in classrooms today, how they protect our students, and also then align them to ISTE standard number 3, which is on citizenship. There's also a computer science application. You're going to do some simple coding and programming. It's very fun, very, I don't want to say rudimentary. That would be absolutely a terrible word, but it's very introductory. It's very manageable. So if you've never done programming or coding of any type, you'll be very comfortable in how you do it. But you're going to be doing a lot of reflection on that too. So yeah, very useful. You'll be planning some instruction. You'll also be recording yourself and reflecting upon recording. So you're going to actually go record yourself towards the end of the course, record yourself teaching either a class or a small group. I'll talk about that more in depth as we get closer to that. But most of the times people choose a small group to teach because getting permissions and stuff like that can be a laborious pursuit. So I'll talk to you if you can't get permission, there's other alternative ways that we can absolutely still do this assignment and do this activity and for it to be fulfilling and useful. And finally, at the end, using data to improve student achievement, which is based on you're going to need to analyze data and make some informed instructional decisions. So as I said before, all these are turned into anthology portfolios, except for assignment 1. That's not at the very end, you're going to turn it into anthology, but not until the end of the course. There's going to be the first part, which is the pre-course, you're going to turn into Brightspace. Okay, so far I've gone over, let me go ahead, I'm going to switch over real quick to Brightspace. So I've gone over most of the syllabus, I've gone over most of the big item things on the syllabus. I did want to go to Brightspace just in case you're not used to using Brightspace, you're comfortable with understanding the functionality and navigation. Okay, so once you log into Brightspace, brightspace.ndm.edu, and you use your credentials to get in, you're going to find the course that talks about it's spring 2024 term B, tech for instruction and management. That's my course. So you're going to enter that course. Now, if you look on the left-hand side, click on content, and it makes this kind of table of content view, which is on the left side is kind of like a table of contents. On the right side is the content. I find that this is the easiest way to view things. So, if you go to the welcome screen, if you go to the welcome table of contents, there's a welcome section. There's textbook information on how to get the book. There is also the syllabus. Okay, it's useful if you need a digital copy of the syllabus, you can grab it. This module right here, module 1, is the one I released today. Okay, if you go, you're going to see a module over for every single module. There's a module overview, the objectives, there's the module plan. If you come in here and click on this, it's going to give you a start to finish everything that you should be doing for this module, including the readings, what to read, what to watch if there's more video. It even talks about how to get the transcript and stuff like that if you need it. And then you just look down for more. So here's the presentation. The presentations, most of them, not all the units, but most of the modules have presentations that are videos. There might be a time where there's not a video, there might be videos, there might be a presentation instead. So you're going to look for the presentation, you're going to watch it. I did for all of my presentations, I did create transcripts. So if you can't stand my nasally voice, you can always click here and read it. There might be other resources and stuff as well. Here's some PDF versions of the ISTE standards for students and for educators. And if you scroll on down, you will sometimes you'll see an assignment section that says and gives information about the assignment. If you click on this, in fact, you're only going to be turning it in here. If you click on this, you'll see that here is the self-assessment that you're going to take today. Or I'm sorry, you're going to take during the week. You're going to complete this section only before next Sunday, and you're going to submit it. And you see I'm just on the left side of the column right there, just the left column. I'm going to leave the right column and these post-course reflection questions alone until the very end. So that'll go up in bright space by the end of the week, just this column being complete. And if you feel like it's if you feel like it's a strength, you put an S. If you feel like it's neither a strength nor a weakness, it's kind of in the middle, you just put an N. And if it's a personal need still, like something you need to grow in, you would put the letters PN for personal need. All right. Let's see. There's going to be some instances where you'll use a discussion forum. I'll go to, you can't see module 4, but I can show you module 4 real quick, has a discussion. To do a discussion, you'll see it'll actually say discussion topic. If you click on it, after you read the prompt and the information, you look for this where it says start a new thread. Once you click on there, you'll be able to type in your discussion forum. And then also, there'll be instances where you also have to reply to others. After they're done, you can click on theirs and hit reply. So it's very easy to enter your online discussions. If you want to see your grades, if you go to tools and grades, it will show you a gradebook function. You'll see all of your feedback there. Remember, although I'm using Anthology Portfolio for all of your submissions, I do keep a running grade book. I do keep a running score of your grade and your performance in Brightspace. Okay, so let me talk about Anthology because I haven't gone over it really extensively yet. Okay. So let me take you to the you know what? I'll just run through the syllabus real quick. I won't read it verbatim. I'm just going to go to the highlights. It does talk about the policy for Anthology Portfolio, which is probably the easiest way. So there's my name. So Ryan Schaff. There's my email address. There is my phone number. If you contact me via email, I usually get back to you within 24 hours. If you contact me by phone, if you call me, leave a message if I can't answer. If you're texting me, please lead with your name. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll honestly tell you the best way to get a hold of me is through email. But of course, if you call or text me, I will get back to you. Information about the book. I will not bore you to death by reading all of this stuff. You can read it in your own time. Attendance. This is an asynchronous course. That means that we're not going to be we're not going to be meeting online at all or face to face or anything like that. However, there is a way that you can kind of lack participation. I call it falling off the face of the earth. You don't want to kind of abandon, especially an online course where you're going to have to show some self-discipline in doing your assignments and staying to a schedule. Please do not just disappear and ghost me for like 2 or 3 weeks. Don't do that. If there's some sort of emergency, reach out to me and contact me. Okay? Don't think I have some sort of closed door policy. I don't. I have an open door policy. Contact me, and we can make arrangements or decide what's the best course of action for you to take. Pretty much once you start to participate, you're on our roster. You want to stay active, you want to stay participating, because what's going to happen is all of your, even if you're, even if I can give you a little bit of extra time, you're still going to have assignments that pile up. So just be careful. Just reach out to me if there's ever an issue. I do accept late work, but it will come at a decrease of 1 letter grade. I accepted up to 7 days late. There's some information about naming your assignments if you're turning something in. Like I did Shaft case study. Do a mixture of your like last name and the assignment name, because a lot of times it will be easier for me to keep track of things inside of when it's digital. So here's a description of all the course assignments, which I'll go into more detail just soon. I did want to show you this. Here's the breakdown of all the scoring in the course. 7 assignments. They're either worth 10 or 20 points. This schedule, the course schedule, comes in handy because you can kind of keep track of what you're doing, what the readings are, what you're expected to do. It also includes what assessment is due, and where to turn it in. You'll notice that this is the only section that talks about bright space. Everything else you're turning into anthology. It includes the dates when you turn stuff in. And if you don't like this format for the due dates, I created this thing here for you. Tells you when to turn everything in. It includes the dates and when. Okay. There are other honor code information as you do assignments and text. It does ask you to put this little snippet right here on the bottom of anything, just saying that you hereby affirm that I neither given nor received help for this exam, paper, or assignment. There is a section here about AI. I do say this for this course. There is going to be sections where AI could be useful. Let's see. I will say that you can use it to check your work to make sure that you are doing things grammatically correct. You can do things to check and make sure that, let's see, grammatically correct. You can find different resources if you want to use kind of like if you want to go and find resources that are out there online, it might be helpful. For assignment 3, which is digital citizens, it can give you ideas, but you're not going to be copying and pasting content right from AI. That's a no-no. Okay, so the anthology portfolio. So let me give you a little bit of information. So the anthology portfolio is the assessment platform that the School of Education has been using ever since 2005. I can't believe we've been using it this long. It is a third-party tool that we ask that students, there's a cost of $150 and it lasts for 5 years. If you already have an ePortfolio account, you don't have to get another one. You can use the same one that you've used before. I just ask that you make sure you can log in and access the account. If you have not used the ePortfolio before, you have to purchase an account and use it. This course all 7 assignments end up going into the e-portfolio. So for this course alone, for the technology requirements for your degree, you have to use the e-portfolio. To purchase an account, you just click on, there's a link right here. If you click on there, you can pay for it digitally, and then Professor Ball will reach out to you with directions and instructions on how to do the e-portfolio. You're going to create 2 portfolios. The one that you're going to use in this class is this one that says NDMU SOE General Coursework e-portfolio. It has EDU 556. It has all the assignments in there that you need to submit to it. Inside of Brightspace, and I'm not trying to mix you up with different learning management systems, I want to show you that I put a free tutorial section in Brightspace to help you. So if you need written instructions on how to set up your e-portfolio after you purchased your account, you can click on here and you can read how to do it. If you need a video tutorial on how to set up a new account, here's it's a 9-minute walkthrough that takes you step by step on setting everything up there. This is for you. You have access to it. You can use it whenever you want to set up your account. Okay, so that is anthology. Let me let's see. I went over the syllabus. I have gone over. I will still go over the assignments. Let me stop just for a second and see, do I have any questions from the people that are online with me right now? Is it Aaron?
Yes.
Yes.
I have one question. So I saw on Brightspace that the assignment one and assignment two, the digital search tool log, was due March 24th, but I saw on the syllabus that it says assignment two is due the 31st.
Oh, let's take a look. The nice thing is I can fix if it's a mistake, I can fix it right away. Yes, it is definitely not due on the 20. It looks like it was just a nice thing is I can fix that right away. And let me hit update and it's fixed. I put 10 p.m. though. That's weird. I, I don't know. That may have been something from a long time ago. That's weird. Anyway, it's fixed now. It's now due March 31st at 11:59 p.m. That's probably the right date.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for catching it. Listen, I'm human. I thought I went through this thing already 5,000 times. Obviously, there's still little bugs, but if there's some, always go by the syllabus. If there's a mistake, let me know because I can fix it. And I always err on the side of my students, so don't worry about it. Okay, so that should be fixed, and I'll even verify now. There is a date on here. I do want to warn people of this for module 1 for turning in this pre-course self-assessment. There's a date of March 24th at 10 p.m. I don't know why it keeps on doing 10 p.m. I don't want 10 p.m. There. Okay. Anyway, when you turn it in to here, it might say overdue. I don't know why it keeps on doing that, especially if you submit something. Don't worry about it. It will be fine. I'll turn this date off afterwards, and then there won't be any date associated with it. And you'll notice that a lot of the assignments have due dates that might say, hey, it's overdue, it's overdue. We turn in assignments 1 through 7, go into anthology. Anthology doesn't talk to Brightspace, so it's not going to say, hey, they turned it in. Turn this notification off. I have to manually set them, so they're kind of annoying. But just to let you know, I will come in and turn that off, so this way it doesn't mark it as you have something overdue. I'll reach out to you if there's something that's overdue or something happened, or I will be very I'll advocate for you. I will also reach out to you if there's a problem. This is the best way to say it. But Aaron, good question, and thank you for catching that mistake. Anybody else? All right, let me go ahead and okay. Let me go ahead on to I'm just going to go over the first 4 assignments. Now, I'm not going to go over all 7 because I think it's just going to be information overload. So what I want to do is just go over the first 4 assignments, since that'll probably be, I think, the first 4 or 5 weeks of class. So let me go ahead and share screen real quick. Here we are. Okay. So assessment one, as I already mentioned before, it's a pre and post course self-assessment. What you're going to do is you're going to complete the left column, which is the pre-course, and you're going to submit it to Brightspace. It's going to ask you questions. It's going to ask you to rate yourself based on the ISTE standards for educators on how, do you think it's a strength? Do you think it's an area of need? It's going to ask you to rate yourself. The right side of the right column, which is the post course, and these three reflective questions at the bottom, you save until the very end. And then you're going to submit it to the anthology at the very end of the course. So this way I get pre-course and post-course data. I can see how much growth you've gone through. That's assessment one. This part one is the only thing that's being turned into Brightspace. You are going to be participating in a discussion forum for assignment four, but you actually still are going to submit something to the portfolio. Assignment two is a digital search log. What you're going to do is you're going to go and find 10 digital tools, apps, or online resources for modern day teaching, learning, and assessment. You could, if you read about a tool that you like, say for instance, some people will do, I'm just going to give an example. Let's say you're a social studies teacher and you read about, sorry, my dog is snoring terribly. Wyatt, stop it. Stop snoring. Let's say he woke up, he's still snoring. Okay. Let's say, for instance, you're doing a digital tool called iCivics. iCivics is a social studies tool. It's a game, a social studies game site. What you would do is you might go to name a digital tool you call iCivics. A brief summary of that, I would give a brief summary of the tool. Evaluation. Now, there are criteria inside of module tool that talk about how to critically analyze a digital tool for usefulness, for, if it's offering like a relative ease of use for your students, if it's free, if it's accessible, things like that. It's asking you to kind of rate it. And then it talks about how do you intend to use the tool with your students. Well, for iCivics, it's a digital game that they play to learn. So there's one on how to learn how to do taxes or how to learn about the elements of taxes and stuff. I would play that to introduce the idea of taxes. And there's also a little bit of a reflection. So that's assignment number two, just in a nutshell. Number three, I actually get you to, as I mentioned before, you're going to research a specific law associated with using technology in schools. There's everything from cyberbullying to acceptable use policies to the Children's Internet Protection Act, the Civil Rights Act. There's COPA, which is the Children's Online Privacy. You pick one of these, you research it, you find resources online, you become the expert on this policy, and you give a rationale why we have this policy, what's its importance. And then you connect it back to the ISTE standard for educator number three, which is ISTE citizens. How does this law or policy help protect our children in schools? And this is, instead of doing a paper, this is a presentation. You're actually going to develop either a PowerPoint or a Google Slides based on this. And module three, which is what this in, it also gives you, if you're not used to building PowerPoints or slideshows, it does talk about if you how to build and craft the best presentations. And the final one I'm going to go over tonight is assessment four, which is computer science application discussion. I'm going to give you a bunch of options on exploring simple forms of programming and coding, like Scratch and Scratch Junior, Tinkercad, which is actual graphic design. It's computer assisted design. There's also code.org and some other resources and tools. I think I give a couple other ones. You're going to tinker and explore some of these tools and play with them and try and develop something. You're going to create a short 2-minute screencast of you using one of these tools. But that's not it. You're going to share that, but you're also then going to go online and you're going to have an online discussion about what you did and what were some of the good things that, what were some of the struggles that you had? What were some of the, the personal triumphs that you experienced? Things like that. You're going to experience that. And then you're also going to package all your discussion and put it on into Anthology Portfolio. So that's the first, yeah. And then here's the discussion template you're gonna put up online and submit this. There'll be more of that information as you get closer to module 4. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the stop recording